There we go. All right. So I'm here with Gary. So I'll ask you the personal questions. What is your first name?
Name's Gary,
And what is your occupation?
web developer.
And how would you rate your skill level with WordPress from never used, beginner, experienced blogger, experienced administrator, theme or plugin developer, or advanced?
Theme and plugin developer.
Okay. Just for clarification, you're okay with me recording this for
Absolutely,
public
yeah.
consumption? Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Have you ever used the image uploading and adding feature in WordPress before?
I have, yes.
Okay. If yes, without looking at it, do you find that experience to be simple and intuitive?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So I've explained to you that what you're looking at here is the prototype for a new type of experience. I'm going to walk you through a set of steps, and I want you to perform the actions that I'm asking you to, and explain what you're doing as you're doing them.
Yep.
So the first step is, in the prototype in front of you, add a new image to the post, a new image. Explain what you're doing as you move along.
Okay, so I want to add a new image. So I shall click on this Add Media button here. I get the pop-up. I need to select a new image. So this prototype has already got a few images already in there, but I'm going to add a new image. Okay, that was different. Let's try that again. Obviously wasn't reading select file from advice.
Oh, it's skipping, just for clarification, it's actually not allowing you to upload an image.
Right, okay.
It's just pretending that it did. So if you just click through again.
Okay, that's why then.
Yeah, your computer's too fast. The image for the book there is the one that got added.
Yeah, okay, so the first time that was selected there, and I realised that. So I'm going to select on this insert button here, which will send it back to the editor.
Yep.
And that is now added.
That is it. Okay. So task number 2. Just like before, add an image, new or from the gallery, to the post. But this time I want you to change the metadata or link target or image size or something like that as you insert it.
Okay. So I'll click on here. Let's go for the baby. I imagine I'm going to click down here. That says coming soon. Is that going to send me an individual page? Nope. Edit info or edit image. Let's edit the info. So, our shoes. I know this is a different image to the one I selected, but let's see if we can find the other one. There we go. Maybe. And insert that in, and that's come up next to it.
Okay. All right. Number 3. Can you add multiple images to the post at the same time?
Yep. Okay, so I'm selecting the first one. I'm going to have a guess and press Command on my Mac and select multiple. Imagine if I press Shift, possibly you would be able to select multiple first and last, but in this case, perhaps not. So just selecting with Command and then Insert. And they have appeared all down here.
All right. And then finally, can you show me how you would change the metadata for several images in the library before adding them?
Okay, so that's probably what I was doing before then. So yeah. Choose on that one. Maybe. Can't see what that one is. Digger. And go back to the grid. And then that one, and that one.
Okay, so before you click on the insert button, if you go back to the view right now So click on the view button at the bottom.
So that just
And
allow
then,
me just to select those three. Nope, still
yeah,
showing.
actually, you have to resize your window. There's something wrong about a media query here. If you resize your window a little bit to make it smaller,
Okay, 1 second.
that's really odd. I have to take a look at that.
Close out of that, and I'll go back into it again.
Yeah, maybe.
Now I can see the admin sidebar, which I couldn't see
Yeah.
previously.
Try to click on an image and then the view button. Oh, I'm still not seeing it. You should be seeing more of the image and then a checkbox at the bottom that indicates that this is, in fact, a selected image. I don't know why that's not happening. That's a prototype bug. But normally what would happen is when you were in view info, you would actually see a checkbox somewhere that would indicate which of the images are actually selected, so that you could choose to insert a specific image from this point rather than just from the gallery or the grid. So
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why that's not happening. It was working yesterday. Okay, that is good enough. So just click on the, yes, okay, so you're back here. Now, that was the test. So now I have some debrief questions.
Yep.
So the question number 1 is, on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being very hard and 5 being very easy, how would you rate the experience of adding an image?
Fairly easy. So that's 4, and it probably only wouldn't be a 5 because of the unfamiliarity of the fact that the view button is in a different place, and obviously in this prototype on my screen it wasn't quite working and things weren't showing up as it should have been. But not difficult at all. No, it's just a different button, different place. So once you know where that is the first time, you then know where it is. So it's no trickier than kind of what it would be now.
Okay. Second question. On a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being very hard and 5 being very easy, how would you rate the experience of working with the metadata for the image?
I liked how easy. Yeah, once I found the view button, 5. I thought the card was very nice and it flipped round, easy to read. If I would just cheat and have another look, but yeah, very nicely laid out. And I can imagine that developers would find space to find other things to put in here as well, so easily extensible. So yeah, in terms of entering the metadata, very clear, very obvious once you know where that button is to how to get to that card.
Okay, which brings us to number 3. On a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being very hard and 5 being very easy, how would you rate the intuitiveness of this user experience?
3 or 4. Again, it's not unintuitive. It's just I have an existing familiarity with the existing media library, so you have to kind of almost unlearn where you think it would be to then actually visually look and actually take notice. So for existing users, yes, they might have a few minutes of working out how the new system works, but I don't think it's any long-term disadvantage, and obviously it's going to bring some advantages as well.
Number 4, if you've used the current image uploader, which you have, how would you compare it to the prototype you've just tested? Much worse, worse, the same, better, or much better?
On the first glance with this prototype that obviously isn't quite showing as it should be, I'd have to say the same, but I suspect if things were working in this prototype, then it would be kind of better. And as I say, this card effect and entering the metadata, I think is nice. So yeah, so somewhere between exactly the same, well not exactly the same, but the same or better, depending on whether I've seen everything that I should have been seeing or not.
So what part of the prototype do you like the most?
I like the card effect. I like being able to swipe through these these cards to just kind of bulk edit metadata. I think that's nice that you can see that just very self-contained. It'd be nice if that, when you get to the end, it would kind of loop through to number one. But obviously, I haven't played with the edit image, but the edit info, yeah, and obviously that bit isn't quite showing quite right for me. More down there.
So weird. Okay, what part of the prototype do you like the least? Ignoring the bugs.
Ignoring the broken bit. I think there's a just perhaps the user interface, in the fact that you kind of got some bits down here which are obviously kind of boxed and highlighted with a primary color to say, well, this is a button. Same for this more down here, whichever kind of whatever that might do. And yet you've got two other kind of buttons up here, which just seem to be floating in midair. They're not buttonized. They're not got a border and a secondary button color. They're just kind of flat. Flat over here, whereas these bits at the bottom aren't flat. Then you've got a plain link over here. Then you've got a link with an icon over here. So there's, well, one's a link as well, but it's kind of in the corner there. So you've got kind of 2 or 3 different types of links, styles, and they're perhaps not obvious as to why they are different, if that makes sense. I mean, obviously, perhaps the fact that these buttons are supposed to be the primary ones, yes, the insert. But if the idea is to perhaps be able to edit a lot of info and populate the metadata before you kind of insert it in, then having this just extra link on its own up here, this to me would almost be a very close primary link, even if it's not the primary link of inserting.
Yeah. All right. And finally, what, if anything, would you change in the prototype? You can change anything. Wording, layouts, whatever.
Just don't know what's some of these other bits and pieces, but of the bits that are there, don't know. I like that grid. That's fine. Let's go back to that bit. There's a section on there somewhere that I can select that isn't actually part of this button, so I don't know again if that's a broken bit or just a
just think
overlooked bit.
Just imagine that things work the way they're supposed to.
Okay.
So we're looking for, this would end up being built into the WordPress interface. It would actually look like WordPress and behave properly,
of course,
and not be broken.
Yeah. So yeah, it's already done, uploaded. No, I like it. What would I change? I'd have to struggle to find something to change, I think.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's great. That is the end of the prototype test. So, thank you very much for taking part.
You're welcome.
Your feedback is very valuable to us as we move forward with this project. I may call upon you to redo this test when we have an actual working plugin. That won't be for a good long time, though. But we might want to go back to all the people that have done the prototype testing to do the test again, once we have something actually functioning. If you have anything else that you forgot or that you think of later, you can always contact me directly, and I will pass the information on to the team. And that's it. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Just to let you know, when I stop the broadcast, sometimes I get logged out, so I might just disappear completely. I'm not doing it because I'm super rude.
Not a problem.
All right.